just going to merge into our wisdom and woo, and we will still have a two in there. We're just going to have it 2 times a month, and we'll have it right around the full moon and right around the new moon. And so we are here perfectly placed around this full moon in Cancer. Now, why is it perfectly placed? Well, it's perfect because I'm a Cancer. I have actually 4 planets in Cancer. So, yeah, I'm kind of like all the Cancer, right? So, what is happening right now, and what is happening around full moons? So, every full moon that we get together, I remind you that full moons are when we are at like the peak of energy, right? All of this energy has been building, building, building until we hit the apex and we have the full moon. And as soon as the full moon happens, right, as soon as you can see all of the beautiful moon, we start to, slide back down into the darkness, right? I say down, but, over into the darkness. So, ideally, at full moons, we are evaluating all the things that we had been working on. We hit this apex, and now it's a time to start releasing, right? We had our big moment. Now we need to look and see, well, what didn't work, what did work, and now it's over. It's really important to continuously kind of look back and just again see what needs to be released, and that's what we use the full moon's energy for. Okay. And then back to Cancer. So this full moon is in Cancer. And so, Cancer is all about the home. It's about mothering. It's about nurturing. It's about emotions, right? Especially like shit from the past is big with Cancers, right? And so if you think, again, about what we just had this apex for, what this big thing we've been working on, whatever big emotional stuff that has been happening in your life, right? Whether it's because of everything going on in the world, whether it's this new year, whether it's, you know, there's a lot of disappointment happening around things that we were hoping were going to be moving that haven't yet, about the world kind of opening back up again after COVID, but we're still not after COVID. And so emotions really have been running pretty high lately. Um, or we've been sitting in these emotions that haven't felt great for almost 2 years now for a lot of people. So this full moon in Cancer, might feel really emotional. There may be something again that has come to a head, and and it's okay. We have to do that. We have to allow our emotions to have space, give them a platform, give them an opportunity to come through so that we can recognize, what is our emotion versus what someone else's emotions, which we talk about quite a bit, but also so that we really acknowledge our emotions, which isn't something that most of us really have had an opportunity to learn about, to do on a regular basis. And so the full moon in Cancer is a perfect time for you to start working on that. So that's where we are now. So full moon energy, we're going to release. Cancer energy, again, is around home. It's around the things emotionally and internally, right? The Cancer is ruled by the moon. So internally, when you think about your emotions, what are these things that have been coming up for you, right? Now, to add another layer onto this, we are also back in a Mercury retrograde. Uh, Mercury rules our communication, the way that we communicate with people, both speaking and listening, right? The way that we give information and the way that we receive it. And so when Mercury's in retrograde, we really just need to kind of pause, right? And make sure that what we're saying is really what we intended. Um, Try to listen, more than once or on a deeper level. Try to listen to what people are saying to us, because again, we may be not hearing people clearly, or the way that they expected to give you information. And so, if you layer that onto what I talked about with Cancer and our emotions, how easy would it be for us to misunderstand someone's intentions and then get all emotional about it? Right. So these couple of days, right around this video, it's going to be really important for you to really take a step back and do that releasing, right? Do some, maybe you do some cleansing with water, right? Water is, our emotions, Cancer, all of that is water. Even if something as simple as taking a nice, hot shower and just really imagining the water just washing over you, washing away all the things that you want to release, all the emotions that you want to let go of. Just, close your eyes and imagine that water just washing them all off your body, down the drain. Something as simple as that can really help for you to just take that moment to connect again emotionally. Same thing you can do even when you're drinking a glass of water, right? Drink that water and just close your eyes and imagine that water, feel it kind of going through your body and taking with it all the things you want to let go of, right? Really feel it just just washing over all of those pieces. That's another great way. So, again, when you think about that Mercury retrograde and what's layering in there, just keep that in mind. And that will be happening about another 2 weeks. We've got Mercury retrograde going on. So when we talked about, when I pulled cards coincidentally for this last week in the 5-card spread, the card that we got for our overall card specifically this week was the 4 of Cups, and I'll show it to you here. And what is really cool about this particular deck is you may be able to see on his little cap there the crab symbol, right? So he was screaming to talk about this Cancer full moon anyways. But we got the 4 of Cups, and, again, cups, water, emotions. This is about our emotions at this time. And then 4 is all about stability. So when you're thinking about releasing with this full moon, you are releasing things that you need to let go of because you're creating that stability, right? Not connecting to your emotions, pretending that they're not there, sitting in anger or fear or sadness, hoping it will go away. I mean, that's just not going to happen. I mean, we have to really take the time to sit with what we're feeling, whatever it is. Right? It may not be as bad as you think it is, but you're not going to know until you take the time to sit down, allow yourself to just take a breath, just release, just focus on centering yourself and centering your emotions, right? That can look like asking yourself some questions about, what am I feeling right now? Are these emotions that are coming up, are these mine? Are they based in reality? During this Mercury retrograde, am I upset about something that I may have misunderstood? Or have I gotten myself excited and worked up about something that maybe really isn't happening? Right? So some of the other cards that we had pulled this week have to do with, us being in a place where, maybe you've been working on yourself, you've been working on, connecting within and your intuition, and it's going great and you're feeling great, and, you're just out here like, yes, look at me, I'm doing it. And as you start to share that with the world, or the people around you, maybe they're not there, right? Maybe they're not ready to be, out and shining. Maybe they're going through their own things. And when you come to them with this larger than life version of yourself, they may, kind of come at you like, keep that to yourself. Like, what are you doing? You think you're better than me? Right? Or, one of the things that came up for us was the Tower card in terms of relationships. And, maybe again, you think that you are farther along in a relationship with someone, and you come to them, you talk about it, you're excited, and they're like, wait, what? No, I'm not there with you, right? All those things might be coming up for you between this full moon in Cancer, between this Mercury retrograde energy. And it's so important for you to remember that everyone isn't where you are. Everyone hasn't been on your path. Everyone hasn't been putting in the same work that you've been putting in. And don't be thrown off when you bump up against that, right? Don't be thrown off when people are not recognizing your shine. They're not recognizing this greatness that you're trying to put out there. If people haven't been doing the work, they may feel insecure about that, right? They may be put off by that. But remember that that's their issue, not yours, right? You don't stop the shine, okay? People who are going to come along with you on your journey and are going to support you and love you, they will catch up. Or you have to leave them behind, or they become part of that release, right? But right now, really what you have to focus on, and I'll show it to you again. You really have to focus on grounding yourself, centering yourself, balancing yourself, right? Finding that balance in between all the other things going on, and just sit in those emotions and figure out for yourself really what they are, right? So I would really love to hear from all of you, what what you've been going through, what's been coming up for you, some ways that you've learned to release. I know we spent a good chunk of the end of last year, especially talking about releasing in some of these ways. So I would love to hear from you, and if let me know if you've practiced any of these things. And I mentioned in the beginning, we've changed some of the format here. Um, this piece will actually be added into a podcast. So I'll be putting all these messages onto audio form so that you can listen to these messages on the go. As I bring in some guests like we have done in the past for Friend Fridays and whatnot, those things will be going in there onto a podcast as well. So I'm really excited about that. And I hope that you will join me if you're interested in joining the podcast. Absolutely. Let me know. You can always email hello@WTFwithMel. And lastly, I want to remind you as well, as we talk about these emotions and finding ways to get them out, is that the if you haven't listened to it already, make sure you check out all the things with the magical cartographers, my good friends. We have our podcast out. We have just put out episode 2, and we will be putting out normally one podcast a month on the second Tuesday, and then every month on the fourth Tuesday. So coming up for us next week, we will also be doing a live, right? Like we used to do. We will be together doing a live, continuing the conversation. And so this podcast, if you haven't checked it out already, is about, it's called The Exit Interview. So we really talk about this idea of, releasing, of exiting, what that means, why it's so important for us to exit things, release things, so that we can start preparing for what's next. So make sure you check it out anywhere you listen to podcasts. And that's it. I'm going to be short and sweet today, and I will see you again at the new moon. And so stay magical, y'all.